A Child's Diary from Gaza, a fictional story inspired by the documented experiences of many children living through war. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that your school no longer exists. Your favorite toy is buried under broken concrete. The place where you celebrated birthdays is now only dust, yet every night before sleeping, you still whisper the same prayer. Maybe tomorrow will be peaceful. This is not the story of one child. It is a fictional story inspired by the experiences that many children in Gaza have described over the years. My name is Yusuf. I am 10 years old. Before the war, my biggest problem was finishing my homework before my friends knocked on the door. Every morning, my mother would wake me with a smile. The smell of fresh bread filled our small apartment. On the way to school, my father always reminded me, knowledge is a light that nobody can take away. After school, we played football in the narrow streets until sunset. Sometimes we raced to the beach. Sometimes we argued about who scored the best goal. Life wasn't perfect, but it felt normal. And when you're 10 years old, normal feels like forever. Then, one night, the sky changed. A loud explosion shook our windows. The lights disappeared. The walls trembled. My little sister started crying. My mother hugged us tightly. My father looked outside, then quietly said, "We have to leave." I grabbed my school bag. Inside it were my notebooks, my favorite pencil, and the drawing I wanted to show my teacher the next day. I never knew that tomorrow would never be the same. The streets were crowded. People carried babies. Grandmothers leaned on walking sticks. Children held onto their parents as tightly as they could. Everyone was walking. Nobody knew exactly where safety was. When I looked back, I could still see our apartment building. It became smaller, until it disappeared from sight. I didn't know if I would ever see my room again, or my football, or the tree my grandfather planted before I was born. Days became different. Water became precious. Food became something we hoped for instead of expected. Sometimes we waited for hours just to fill a single container. My little sister always asked, "When can we go home?" No one answered, because no one knew. One afternoon, I found a small notebook inside my backpack. It was almost empty, so I started writing. I wrote about my friends, about my school, about my dreams, because I was afraid that if I stopped writing, one day I might forget what normal life felt like, even during difficult days. Hope never completely disappeared. One volunteer smiled as she handed my sister a piece of bread. Another person shared drinking water with strangers. Children still found ways to laugh. Someone made a football from old cloth. Someone told stories after sunset. Someone shared the last piece of food they had. I realized something. Buildings can be damaged. Roads can be broken. But kindness still finds a way to survive. One evening, I opened my notebook again. Instead of writing about fear, I wrote about my future. I wrote, "When I grow up, I want to become someone who helps people. I want children to carry school bags, not bags filled only with the things they managed to save. I want classrooms instead of shelters. I want laughter instead of sirens. I want peace." As I finished writing, I looked up at the sky for the first time in many days. I imagined what tomorrow could look like, somewhere in the world tonight. A child is making plans for tomorrow. Every child deserves that chance, no matter where they are born, no matter what language they speak, no matter what they believe. May every child one day wake up to the sound of birds instead of fear. May families everywhere find safety, and may peace become stronger than war. If this story touched your heart, remember that behind every headline are real people with hopes, dreams, and families. Thank you for watching.